the shifting tides of Europe's populist ascent are unmistakable. Right-wing populism is growing, becoming a significant force across the continent. This trend has gained momentum, with parties moving from the periphery to mainstream politics. Populist parties claim to represent ordinary citizens, often opposing a corrupt elite. National identity and sovereignty are central themes that resonate with many voters. The 2008 financial crisis eroded public trust in old institutions, and the 2015 migrant crisis amplified cultural fears. Brexit showed an alternative path, viewed as taking back control. Italy, Hungary, France, and Sweden have seen strong populist surges. This phenomenon affects the entire continent. Understanding this appeal is crucial. Faces of the movement, key figures and parties. Marine Le Pen leads the National Rally in France, focusing on nationalism and stricter immigration controls. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, promotes illiberal democracy and clashes with EU institutions. Giorgia Meloni, leading the Brothers of Italy, became Italy's Prime Minister in 2022, focusing on traditional family values and national interests. The Sweden Democrats have gained considerable influence. Similar movements exist in Germany, Austria, and the Netherlands. Common themes include anti-immigration sentiment, skepticism towards the EU, and a call for stronger national identity. These parties collectively reshape European politics. Roots of discontent, understanding the drivers. Economic anxiety drives populism, with many feeling left behind by globalization and job displacement. Wage stagnation leaves workers economically insecure, and populist movements promise to protect national economies. The 2015 migrant crisis fueled cultural anxieties linking immigration to crime and social service burdens. Populists promise tighter borders and reclaiming national control. Some voters feel the EU has too much power, with Brussels seen as distant and unaccountable. Populists challenge the idea of ever closer union, wanting more power for national governments. Distrust in elites, including mainstream media and traditional politicians, fuels populism. Populists create an US versus them narrative, claiming to be the true voice of the people. This distrust undermines traditional political discourse. Section 4. Ripple effects. Populism's impact on the European Union. The rise of populism creates EU tensions, with populist governments frequently clashing with Brussels. These clashes concern core EU values like the rule of law and media freedom. Migration policies often lead to disagreements, with Hungary and Poland facing legal challenges. The EU has even frozen funds to these nations, straining relationships within the bloc. Populist parties emphasize national interests over EU unity, advocating for a looser EU. Few openly push for EU exits now, post-Brexit, but their rhetoric can weaken the bloc. Traditional parties are adapting their stances, adopting tougher lines on immigration and focusing more on national identity. The overall political center is moving rightward, with some populist ideas becoming normalized. This shift changes the terms of political debate, making compromise harder to achieve. Populist governments can obstruct EU initiatives, using veto power more often. Achieving consensus on foreign policy is harder, affecting the EU's ability to act cohesively. Internal divisions can paralyze the EU, making it difficult to respond to global crises. The effectiveness of EU institutions is tested, with consequences for the EU's future role. The project of European integration faces challenges, with a mainstream political shift evident. Populism challenges EU decision-making, with populist governments obstructing initiatives. The EU's ability to act cohesively suffers, especially on the world stage. Internal divisions can paralyze the EU, making it difficult to respond to global crises. The effectiveness of EU institutions is tested, with consequences for the EU's future role. Section 5. Navigating the future, the EU's path forward. Populism is likely to remain significant, reflecting genuine economic frustrations and deep cultural anxieties. These underlying issues must be addressed, as the EU cannot simply ignore these sentiments. Understanding its roots is the first step, as this force will shape European politics and continue to challenge the EU. Internal reform could be one path, with the EU trying to reconnect with citizens and address the perceived democratic deficit. Decision-making processes could be more transparent, showing tangible benefits of membership. The EU needs to listen to citizens' concerns, including those who feel left behind. Rebuilding trust is essential for the EU's future, balancing unity and national identities. The EU must respect differences, as a one-size-fits-all approach may not work. More flexibility within the EU framework, such as differentiated integration, could ease tensions. However, it also risks creating a multi-tier Europe, with continued tension and incremental changes likely. Populist parties will remain influential, with upcoming elections and geopolitical shifts playing a role. The war in Ukraine has complex effects, with long-term implications uncertain. The EU faces a period of adaptation, with its ability to evolve determining its strength. The future holds several possible scenarios, with continued tension and incremental changes likely. Populist parties will remain influential, with upcoming elections and geopolitical shifts playing a role. The war in Ukraine has complex effects, with long-term implications uncertain. The EU faces a period of adaptation, with its ability to evolve determining its strength. Today, on May 26, 2025, these questions are pressing.